This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Yo, I wasn't even planning on going live tonight, Mike.
Yeah, I know, a little behind-the-scenes miscommunication.
Yeah, man. I was just like, it's Sunday night. I was, cooking dinner. I was like, happy to be sitting in front of the computer, and I get a phone call from Mike. It's like, yo, what do we do? We go live? I'm like, now are we? I didn't even plan on it.
No, because and this'll start our league review section of the show, I guess, right?
Yeah.
We'll officially kick it off. So Rob texted me earlier in the week, and he was like, "Hey, are we going live on Sunday? Sunday good for you? 7:30? Or do you want to go? Do you want to go live Sunday 7:30?" And I texted him back, and I said, "I shot 419 on Tuesday, so not really. Not really. I really don't want to go live." And he texted me back and said, laughing out loud, "I shot 740 something, so you have that." And Rob actually took that. There was no further conversation after that. And Rob took that to mean we weren't going live because I didn't want to talk about my poor bowling. And I took that to mean, no, of course we're going live because I'm never afraid to talk about my poor bowling. I've done it numerous times before on here. Don't know why Rob would feel like Big Mike is scared to come on and talk about his horrible bowling. I mean,
420 is pretty bad. I mean,
oh my God. It was almost sub 400, bro. I'm not going to lie.
dude, 400.
If it was sub 400, I don't know. I may have had to reconsider things. I'm not going to lie.
400 is pretty bad. So I was just like, yo, like maybe he doesn't want to go live. I was like, and you know what? I don't blame him. I was like, I don't blame him. I was like, if I shot 400, I would want to go live. But I mean, I bowled really bad the week prior to League 2, and we'll talk about my league review. But I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's get into it.
Well, we should have double league review this week because we weren't on next week.
Ooh, so we got to talk about my last week. Oh,
but I'm not going to speak too much about 2 weeks ago, but I'll say bowled my highest series of the season so far 2 weeks ago. I think 617 or 620, something like that. Yeah, disaster. Here's the interesting thing. Okay. So on these sport patterns, in a sport league where you are bowling with 2 or 3 or more people on a pair, okay, one of the things that you clearly find out and you clearly learn and see very early on in that experience is that who you are bowling with or against and what they are doing on the lanes is highly likely to impact how they're going to be played, right? And kind of what everyone's doing. So this particular week, we were bowling on the medium pattern, which usually the gutter doesn't hook, so I get in. The middles hook a bit. I get in, and I start in, and I stay in, and I just move left, and I just got to get the ball angled in the front part of the lane early, right, and it looks pretty good. And I go from an IQ tour to a Venom Shock, Motive Venom Shock. That's usually the ball transition that I've used successfully on this patterns the last two times we bowled on it. Well, this time when we bowled on it, one of the opponents we were bowling against used urethane on this pattern, which to me, I can't use urethane on this particular pattern because there's just too much volume. This player two-handed, a little bit slower too, slow ball speed, not huge rev rate, but two-handed nonetheless. And to his credit, bowled great. I told him after we were done, might have been the best 3-game set I've ever seen him bowl. Bowled amazing. But man, did it give me nightmares. It gave me nightmares. I mean, it was first game, I bowled fine. I didn't execute a couple shots, and I think I split once or twice, so my score wasn't all that great. But had a look, had an idea of what was going on. Just wasn't really executing all that well. And then the second and third game, not only was the execution not up to par, but I mean I was clueless about how to play them. Yeah, clueless about how to play them. So yeah, just I think well, let me say this: I only brought in 2 balls, which is just stupid. I mean, that's just stupid on my part.
Come on, man. 2 balls.
I know I brought in 3 balls total, but one was urethane for spare, so I say 2 balls to actually use. Got to be more prepared than that. Must be more prepared than that in that environment. So that's my fault. And I felt like the better move, the correct move, probably would have been to get into a much stronger ball. Much stronger ball. I could have played left, but I had to be in a much stronger ball for what was going on down lane. And yeah, it was just ugly. I think I went like 140, 130 or 140, 120 something the last 2 games. And the last game, I mean, the last 4 or 5 frames of the last game, I was honestly just fishing. I was fishing all over the place. I was moving here, moving there, moving out, trying to see what was there. So I wasn't really that concerned with my score at that point because we were getting hammered in the match. But lesson learned. Next time when I run into that, when I see that, I'll be more aware of it. I'll be more on top of it. I'll definitely do something different. The funny thing is, I think I only missed 1 makeable the whole night. I split. I left the big 4 6 times in a 3-game set, and I don't think I left it in game 3 either. So yeah, it was brutal. No good, no bueno. But went to the training center today. Got some work in, and while I don't really feel that it's my mechanics that's the problem or my actual execution that's the major problem. I mean, is my execution up to par for where it should be? No, not at all. But is my execution so bad that I can't, uh, repeatedly make shots in this environment? No, it's not that bad either. It's mainly a matter of just not doing the right thing. After numerous league seasons of bowling on this stuff, and I don't know if you'll agree with me or not, Rob. I kind of feel like almost anybody. I mean, there's some exceptions to what I'm going to say at the very high level, but you have somebody bowl a 36-week sport league, and it's very likely that they're going to go sub 500 a few times.
Yeah. Oh, especially with it depends what you bowl on too, right? Like, I mean, we'll talk about my league review because holy crap, like what they had put out the last 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I didn't bowl the 3rd week. And Kevin Hebert is like pain, misery, and depression. Do you have no idea what we're bowling on right now at Violinda? They put out a 49-foot U.S. Open flat. And let me tell you about this pattern. This thing is just straight nasty. It is straight nasty. This thing is 3 times harder than the Agent On Open pattern. Like, I bowled 2 weeks ago. The first time I bowled in this pattern, I get up and I throw my first shot in practice, and I usually just get up and throw it on 15. And I threw it on 15, just slow. You know how like you just getting your body warmed up and you just want to like not fall? I threw it on 15 really slow, and the ball just picked 3 off the right. And I went, what in the world is this? I moved like 20 right and got to 5, and I picked 3 off the right again. And I'm like, holy crap, what the hell is this? I tried, then all of a sudden I get my Abralon out. I'm hitting it with a hard surface. And I shot 650 something for 4 games. It was nasty. 160, 150. I left there
would you have been sub 500 for 3 of the games?
I would have probably been right around 500, I think.
Okay.
It was nasty, and I was missing every spare. I won't say missing every spare, chopping every spare is probably more like it. And physically, I just don't feel good right now, and I'll talk a little bit about what's going on with me. But I left the bowling center. My dad now is living close to me here. He moved here to Arizona, so he came out to the bowling alley, whatever. And I said, Dad, man, something doesn't feel right. Like since the Age Long Open, my body just doesn't feel right. And the difference between a sore to like something's not right. So the Sunday morning I woke up of the Age Long Open to bowl the finals, like I had a really hard time getting out of bed. My back was hurting me like a mother. My knee was swollen. I didn't really talk too much about it because I didn't want to use that as an excuse for bowling bad. But I felt terrible. Like walking in there Sunday morning, I felt terrible. And it really hasn't got better. It's just kind of slowly been feeling better. So I didn't bowl the next week. No, I bowled that week. I took a week prior to that all for Age Long. I bowled, and then I came back this week. I decided that I was going to try something completely different on that pattern. And so what I did is I took a NV Tour that I drilled, I put it at 500, and I started playing around, like my eyes were around like board, the 3 board and the 2 board. And I threw a couple shots in practice on the pattern. And all of a sudden I got one out to 1 and I went high flush. And I said, oh, what do we got here? We got the old twig playing. I played literally up the 1, 2, 3 board with a 500 grit NV Tour and bowled like 740 for 4. So I was about 60 under. And to be honest with you, I should have easily been 800. I just really I sacrificed a lot of carry, and then I just threw a couple. It was to the point where if I missed left, I missed the head pin right. That's how far right of it I was. So when I missed like 3 or 4 board, I would 2-8-10 or miss the head pin right or wash out. And then by the 4th game, if I missed right, the ball was dead through the face. So I created a huge over and under for myself playing out in the gutter. But I actually bowled pretty good out. I mean, I bowled 2-0, 170, 2-0, like my first 3 playing the 1-2 board, which by the way, I've never haven't played that in forever. Like forever. That shot's usually never out anymore. So it was fun. So here's the deal. I went to take x-rays of my back because my back has been really hurting me. It's just a gradual, really like tough pain. It's not like I'm pulling my back out. I got my results back of what my back is, and I have scoliosis, so my spine isn't really straight, but I didn't realize how bad it was. If anybody doesn't know scoliosis and how that works, it's your spine is curved. It's either like an S curve or like a C curve. Mine's always been a C curve. My brother has the same thing. It's just always kind of been with it. I have a 54-degree curve, according to the x-rays, which is like a severe scoliosis, which is something that usually you need like back fusion, like surgery for, Mike. Like it's like a pretty bad, severe case of scoliosis. And I'm feeling every bit of it now when I bowl. And so, yeah, and it's actually causing my knee, according to, I went to a physical therapist because my knee was swollen, my back was hurting. We're not 100% sure. I got to wait to see what the back doctor says, but dude, the knee swelling and the tightness that I was getting when I woke up that morning of the Age Long is pretty could be a cause of the scoliosis in my back. So yeah, I might be in a little bit of trouble here. I have to see what I'm going to a scoliosis spinal specialist or doctor who specializes in it, but I have to wait for the referral and the x-rays and all that to go through. So it ain't going to be a few more weeks. Yeah, so there's a lot going on with me right now. My arm is great, but now my rest of my body feel like it's falling apart. The other thing here is like I'm still gonna bowl. I'm finishing up the season. Thank God, Mike, that I'm bowling a league that is a split season league because our last week is next week, and it's It's going to be on the same U.S. Open pattern, which the team who is leading the league right now gets to choose the pattern for the position round. And don't ask me why they picked to bowl in the U.S. Open pattern when they had 3 other patterns they could choose. But it is what it is. I'll be bowling that next week. And then, yeah, I mean, honestly, Mike, I might be a few weeks. It might be a few months for me before I got to see what's wrong with my what's the real cause of it is here, what my resolution is. If it's physical therapy, I'm not doing back surgery. That ain't happening. I'm not doing no spinal fusion surgery or any of that shit at 43. It's going to be me just trying to like manage it, I guess. And it's going to have to be like, I'll take a time off, get my body to where I think it's good, where I can bowl 5, 10, 15 games in 2 or 3 days and not feel like I'm 100 years old after I do it.
Well, I mean, if the back pain that you're having is only caused by bowling, then it's a pretty simple solution, right? You just stop bowling. Right?
I went hiking yesterday, Mike. I went on a 4-mile hike up a mountain in Arizona. And yes, like my body felt tired and my back was hurting and my knees were hurting, but it's not even close to what I feel like after bowling like 17 or 18 games in like 2 or 3 days. Like I literally went up it was like 1,000 square foot like mountain in Arizona, like 4 miles. It was like 3 hours, and I felt okay today, really. But when I bowl, it's like the torque is it's all on my back and my knees. So yeah, I don't think I have to make any really decisions now until I see the doctor and get my body stronger. But yeah, I might need to take off.
Yeah, back injuries are tough, man. I mean, in general, forget about bowling. Back injuries are tough, no matter what, right? I mean,
Yeah,
so
and the other thing
trying
is
to
like I could bowl.
with a back injury is not easy at all.
Mike, the crazy thing is I bowled 4 games last week and I didn't feel bad. I mean, my knee feels swollen and my back hurts, but I can bowl. Like it's not like when I hurt my arm where I couldn't even like pick up a bowling ball. Like this is just a feeling of like, holy crap, like I feel like my whole body is like in a huge knot. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. A more physical stuff for me to kind of like battle right now. But yeah, I wanted to bowl a tat in February. It doesn't look like that's gonna happen now unless I go to the back doctor and the physical therapist and they can make like progress on me in a few months. And I feel like I can bowl. I don't know. I usually go to the tat. You bowl like 5, 6 games a day. So we'll see. But I'm happy. Really love this league. I'll be back once I feel better. There's nothing better than a doubles league that bowls on a sports shot where it is done in 2 hours, and if you don't want to bowl the second half of the league, there's really no stress. Like there's no like commitment for a 36-week league. So there is also in my mind, like with the way my body feels, I might be better off bowling a house league, Mike. I might really come down to that. And, because when you bowl a house league, you throw less shots, right? You don't have to physically throw the ball as good as you do on a sport league. So we'll see. But yeah, I knew something was wrong after that Ajinong Open. I bowled 17 games, and I woke up that Sunday morning and I felt like I couldn't even like throw the ball. Like I just the thought of me going to bowl a final tournament for 10 grand was like the really last thing my body wanted to do. And that's how I knew something was wrong, because mentally I was stoked and I wanted to go there and win. But physically, I just was just like, I really don't want to go. Yeah, it might be Rob Hamilton.
Mamma Mia time.
I might have to partner up with Mamma Mia.
You could always beat up on Mamma Mia even with a bad back, I would think.
No. I think Robert says I might have to bowl with Mamma Mia. That's how you win all those Vegas like sweeps, Mike. Mamma Mia rolling in with that 160 average, shooting 650 in sweeps.
Right before we came on the air, I was just perusing my burner Facebook account, and I saw a post on the I am a 300 800 bowler Facebook page, and the post was of a team that shot like 800, 800, 760 in a league set. And their averages were like 202, 208, 218 or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God. Like it's just crazy. All right. Let's move on. Let's keep it moving. Everybody's all up in arms about Brunswick not registering some of the brands. Me and you haven't talked about this at all.
No.
Because it just came out the other day. Thoughts?
Well, let's tell the people what it is in case anybody doesn't know. So Brunswick is dropping the PBA registration for the 2025 logos for 3 of its brands. They're dropping, I believe it's Track, Radical, and Columbia will not be registered, which means logos under those brands cannot be used in the PBA competition in 2025. However, the Radical, Track, Columbia balls are still open for PBA competition. The bowling balls are still can be used. It just seems like they can't use the logos on their shirts.
Now, here's a question. And I don't know about this. I was going to reach out to some people, but I didn't have time, in preparation for coming on here. If there's anybody in the chat who's listening right now who might be able to answer this, feel free to answer it. Why? Why is that the rule? Is it because even if they wanted to use a Radical ball, all they would have to do is just stamp a logo that is product approved, and they'd still be able to use the same ball, right? There's no difference between a ball that has a Radical label on it and a ball that has a Brunswick label on it, right? So, like, is that why they do it? Because it's so easy to get around? Is that why they allow the balls to still be used? Because all it would really do is force the company to make a set of balls with that approved logo on it. Am I right?
Wait, so I don't know. State the question again, because
Okay.
I'm having a hard time following it.
So the PBA says if you don't product register a particular brand, you can't use that logo in the competition. But you can use the bowling balls. So you can't wear a Track logo on your shirt, but you can throw a Track bowling ball. Okay. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me why that is. But when I thought about it a little bit, here's what I'm asking. Do they do that because it's such a simple workaround by the manufacturers? Where, in other words, Rob, if the PBA said, no, you don't product register, you can't wear the logo, and you can't throw the balls. Okay? What Brunswick would do, am I wrong? Am I wrong about this? What Brunswick would do is if there's a Track ball that they really want their guys to have access to, they're going to make a set of those Track balls and just stamp a Brunswick logo on them. Am I right?
I think they would initially probably just get rid of the brands, which is Brunswick should do in the first place. Remember what years ago?
That ain't going to happen.
Years ago, remember we had that whole thing where the whole Brunswick merger, right, with Ebonite, and they have 7 brands, Mike. 7 brands, all coming from essentially the same manufacturer. That's pretty ridiculous, no? Like, as a company that is maintaining 7 different type of brands and 7 different types of bowling balls and making designer shirts, and there's a lot of money that I would imagine goes into it, because you have to market 7 different brands, right? Like you have to make 7
but I
different.
think it's the same people doing the marketing for all 7 brands.
But isn't that so stupid? Like, isn't it dumb? Like, okay, like I know people are gonna think I'm whatever for this, but like, really, like the Radical, like just get rid of it. Track, like get rid of it. Like, even like, I mean, keep the brands that are gonna make the money. Keep the Hammer. Keep, like, Columbia hasn't been any good in years. Okay, like their bowling balls haven't been any good. I'm sorry. Like, keep the brands that make the money and limit the type of brand. 7 brands is crazy. You have to release what, like, how many different releases every few months? because you need some different brands. You need,
but don't you have all those different brands because you're trying to sell multiple products to the same consumer?
I know, but aren't they the reasons why some of these bowling balls are saturating the market right now? Because you have 7 different brands. Like, is it really? I don't know. I'm asking. Look, I'm not in that business. I don't know, but I'm just asking. Like, the cost of keeping 7 brands going, like, it's got to be a huge pain in the ass, and it's got to be like more expensive for a company, no, to keep 7 brands existing.
Well, that was one of the questions that I was going to send some of my people was how much of a savings is involved in not product registering?
Well, they increased their fees. The PBA did for 2025.
Okay.
So that's what had it to do with some of the reasons why they did it. And that's cost savings, right? Not having to register all your brands. But if they're still worried, if Brunswick's still ready, if they're still worried about like cost savings, like, why aren't they doing what I'm saying to do? Like, get rid of these brands, Mike.
That's what I'm saying, because I think they probably have the data saying that having the extra brand sells more balls. But PBA product registering those brands probably doesn't work out financially.
So Fred Stevenson chat says, would anyone really care if Radical, Colombian Track went bye-bye? Patch Pirates, maybe, that were on those logos, the staffers, those staffers would be upset, because I'd imagine they let those staffers go and they would keep some of the main names and move them over to some of the other brands. But in reality, if they're so worried about cost savings, then why don't they just get rid of the brands? Like, just get rid of them. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just asking this question because it seems a lot to maintain 7 brands under one umbrella. Like, Storm is okay. I mean, they got 3 brands, right? Storm, Roto, and Global. And I think that's okay. I still think they could probably like do 2 maybe. But I don't get why they're just doing one, Mike. Like, one company, like Storm. Like,
yeah, I think it has to do with sales, marketing. I mean, you're assuming that a lot of people know that all these balls come from the same company, and I think there's a lot of people in the bowling community who don't know that, right? So, I definitely think it has to do with selling different products to the same group of consumers.
Mike, Kevin in the chat says, Luis Napoli's crying out in pain at the thought that there's 3 less brands to have in your bag. I mean, okay, like, let's just use Columbia as an example. Columbia was an amazing brand, specifically when they were being made out of Texas, right? Back in the day, right?
Maybe the best at one time.
Maybe. Oh, the Columbia U-Dots, the Piranha C's, the Cuda C's. I don't really know exactly when. What? The Quakes. I don't remember when exactly they went under the EBI brand. The Pulse.
Columbia Pulse.
The red one. The OG red one was so good. But the gray U-Dot, the red U-Dot, the black U-Dot, those are nostalgic balls that like were literally the best in the business. But now, Mike, what is Columbia really? What have they been making that has been really great out of that label that you can name off the top of your head right now? I'm just trying to think, like, really, like must-have ball.
I don't think there's a lot of great bowling balls, period, that come out.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. It's been a tough slot. It's been tough right now with all the new stuff.
I hear what you're saying, though. There's certainly not a lot of home runs from the Columbia line.
Radical? Has there been a lot of home runs from Radical?
Not really. Not that I'm aware of.
I'm just trying to say, like, this is the stuff that's Track has had some decent balls come out in the last like few years. Track is the one I could say has been good, but like, I just don't understand like why they have to keep these brands around. Like, why don't they just bite the bullet and say, look, like, we're going to start merging some of these brands and we're going to start getting rid of you patch pirates who are on these brands because we don't need y'all. Like, I don't need you selling a Radical like ball on the internet because nobody's going to buy it anyway, But look, I could be hard on them, but I'm just being honest.
Well, to me, it's just like 6 of one, half dozen of the other because they're all made by the same company.
It's all the same company. So
So
why don't
so
they just?
like we could sit here and talk Radical, Track, Columbia. They're all made by the same company.
I
So
know.
if Columbia's making crappy balls, Brunswick's making crappy balls because they're Brunswick's balls. You know, if Radical's making crappy balls, Brunswick's making crappy balls. You know, I'll also say this: when these companies think for a second about what these mergers in the bowling ball brand game did to competition in the bowling ball brand game. Okay, and stick with me for a second here. When these brands were all independent, okay, and you had, let's say, Brunswick, Columbia, and
Ebonite
Track
and Ebonite.
and Ebonite all competing as separate companies.
Correct.
Okay,
Through the good days.
you know why it was the good days, Rob? Do you want to know why?
Yeah, I could
Because they
guess.
were competing with each other.
100%. Because competition.
Because they were
Good for
competing with
consumers.
each other. So
Competition's good
like
for the consumer.
there was a real need for all of those companies to put out equipment that rivaled or was better than the other companies. Okay? And now that part of this is gone.
Yeah.
Right? You don't really have the competition anymore. I kind of feel like it's become slap a label on some shit and put it out. You know, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's going to sell one way or the other. You
Yeah.
know, they're all produced in the same factory. It don't cost us that much more to run another set of balls here. Okay, but when you don't have that competition between the companies, yeah, look, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Madden. Like
I'll give
Madden
you.
never has to make real changes to the game. They never really have to deeply improve what they're doing because there's no competition.
I'll give you a great example, and you're gonna hate me for bringing this up. But wrestling in the late '90s and early 2000s, Vince McMahon had a stranglehold on the WWE, on the Monday Night War, the Raws, whatever. And then when Ted Turner came in with WCW and put a show on Monday night, guess what happened to the show quality of the shows on Monday Night Raw? They became great because they had a literal competition between ratings at the same night, and both products had to produce the best show they could to get the viewers, right? My brother says it right in the chat. Competition spawns ingenuity and excellence in every industry on the planet. Bowling is no exception. 110%. Now you have 7 brands, and you have 3 brands of Storm, and then you have Motive hanging around, and you kind of want to, in a way, root for Motive in a way, right? Because they're in their own like company, their own space. They don't have all these brands, and I believe, and I correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe all their equipment is made in Michigan. So you want to root for them too. Like Storm has most of their stuff is created in Utah. It's just one of those things where, yeah, slap a label, put a release 2 months later, call it the next best thing, create a Pearl version.
And people are going to buy it. And you know why? Because more than ever today, there's a larger number of bowlers who are loyal to a certain brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like back in the 90s, I didn't know anybody that was loyal to a brand. You drilled the best balls that came out.
Right.
Now, you got guys that only drill this particular brand of balls, and every ball they come out with is great, no matter if it's great or not. So, yeah I definitely think that affects things too, and it doesn't make it easier. Machine in the Sun bringing up the track theorem, right? A great ball that we've seen over the last year or two on the PBA tour, right? And that's a good example of what I'm talking about with the hypothetical that I gave you. Like, if the PBA turned around and said, "Okay, you're not registering track, your guys can't throw the track theorem." All Brunswick's going to do is just produce a track theorem and stamp a B on it.
Yeah, it's called a Brunswick theorem.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, they got that.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the one thing that I would advise people and recommend people is don't be brand loyal. unless they're paying you to be brand loyal. Do not. That is to me the one thing that drives me crazy. It's a big pet peeve of mine when I see people being brand loyal if they're not on staff, if they're not getting paid by the bowling ball company, right? Because guess what? Like there's a lot of other balls like you could drill from every company that are going to be pretty good bowling balls, right? Why limit yourself to only Motive when you have a Purple Hammer sitting there ready for you to drill if you need a good urethane ball? Why stick to only Brunswick when you have a really good line of Storm balls and Global 900 balls to drill? Drill the best of every brand. Their brand loyalty, I understand why people are like that, but it to me, it's the word. Don't do it, because as a bowler who's trying to be the best you can be, drill the best balls you can drill. And who cares about brand loyalty, because they're not paying you. They don't care. If the Storm, if the ball reps come into a tournament and you're bowling and you're brand loyal, are they going to spend time with you and help you? No, they're not, because you're not on staff. And people who think by being brand loyal is going to get them a staff contract, that's not happening. Just because you're brand loyal doesn't mean you're getting a bowling ball staff company. It's actually the opposite. Why are they going to give you free stuff if you're paying for all their stuff anyway? It makes no sense. So that's the one thing that I will let people know. Do not be brand loyal. Don't do it. Drill everything you can. The best balls across all staff. If anybody watched my match with Robert Smith, hashtag all staff. You know what that is? That's all staff, baby. That's getting balls from every company. I'll take a ball there. I'll drill a ball there. I'll drill a ball there. You got 12 brands, 11 brands. I'll drill one from every one of them. If it's going to help me strike, then it's going to help me strike, Mike.
All right, let's go to the chat for some advice with Uncle Rob and Uncle Big Mike.
Uncles.
Jim in the chat says, "Hey guys, need some advice. I have a teammate who's having car problems. He's out of work. I've been having to pick him up and a few times pay for his bowling. Ooh. I can't keep doing this much longer. What should I do?" He also mentions that the guy is $120 in the hole. All right, Rob, you want to go here? You want to start, or you want me to start?
Sure.
I know what Rob's doing here.
I mean, you gotta just be honest with the guy. Like,
Rob ain't taking money out of his pocket and paying for somebody else's bowling.
No chance. I mean, just be honest with the guy. Just like Jim.
And say what?
Dude, I'm not paying for your bowling anymore. Like,
okay.
I'm not paying. Like, just be honest. Say, I'm not paying. Like, and you owe me money too. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, just because I'm your teammate, I'm not your sponsor. I'm not like, I don't know. It depends on where he lives compared to where I live. Mike, if someone was living around the corner from me and I was bowling league with him, like, I wouldn't mind giving him a ride every week and going pick him up, whatever. But like, if it's out of your way and you're driving like 20 minutes in the opposite direction and you got to leave early and you got to like drive him home and you're getting home a half hour late, then after a few times you got to be, look, man, like, you got to find your own ride, man. I can't keep doing this. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. At those kind of points, and everybody has that in their life where somebody might be taking advantage of you and you're really nice. I sometimes think, man, you just got to be honest and just bite the bullet and have a really hard conversation with the guy.
All right. I mean, I have a question. One of my questions to Jim would be, is this guy on your team or no? I'm assuming because you're paying for his bowling that he's on your team. Okay. So, Rob, does Jim have to consider the part of the alternative is, if he tells the guy, hey, I can't do this anymore, he might be out of teammate. Now he's got to find somebody to fill in, and he's probably still down the $120.
I know, but can he? If he keeps doing it, isn't he be in the hole more? So do you just bite the bullet and take the 120, and then next month from now he's in the hole 240, and he's still giving a guy the ride? I don't know.
Jim, is he on your team? Jim, is he on your team? Okay. He is. Okay. Another thing I need to know is, where are you in the league? Where are you in the standings?
What's his average?
Here's the thing to me. No, I'm serious, because say you're doing well in the league, okay, and you're pretty sure if it's a first half, second half league, like you're going to make money from the first half of the league, Okay, he's going to get back money more than what he owes you. Okay, then I would keep doing it. But I would make sure he knows. Listen, if you want to keep doing this, that's fine with me. I'll keep doing it. But when we get paid for this league, the money's coming out of your end. It's definitely coming out. And I
Let's
would let
talk
him know
about this
that.
guy. How's Jim? How's he been bowling? Is he a good average? Is he keeping your team that? Is he a 2-0 average, averaging 160? I mean, are you losing? Are you like? I'm just saying, like, these are things that you have to consider. Because if this guy's a 2-0 average, he's bowling 160s. Yo, I wouldn't give him a ride after the first week. You know what I mean? It just says Jim says he's middle of the road. Doesn't sound like it's it's a worthwhile here endeavor for you, Jim. But I agree with Mike. If you're gonna keep giving this guy rides and you keep paying for his bowling, then you better let him know, like, hey, by the way, I'll keep doing this. But Mike, what happens if they lose money in the league, though?
Well,
Like, what
that's it.
happens?
That's it. That's why you got to know. Hey, this. You got to be sure about where what the money
Yeah,
situation is going to be in the league.
right.
Right. If you're going to lose money in the league, or he's only going to get back. Oh, he has a 152 average. I'll drop that dude. Drop that
Get
dude.
him out of
Nah,
here.
I'm only kidding.
Get him out of here. Tell him to take an Uber. Tell him to take an Uber.
No, but if you're not going to get back at least what he owes you, then yeah, I'd probably have to say to him, hey, listen, I can't do this. Like, I don't know if you're going to pay me back, and we're not going to get the money back to cover this in the league, and But listen, times are tough out there. I like to believe that people are honest and stick to their word. So,
We should be bowling a league then if times are tough. If this guy
but it
is
might be the only enjoyment the guy has in his week, Rob.
I know, but then he should. Some people just can't afford enjoyment. It's just how it goes, man. Like, it is what it is. It's it's a hard time. So yeah, that's a funny. Sorry, Jim. Let us know. Keep us posted on what happens and what you want to do. Yeah. See, I'm with Machine the Sun in the chat. Cut your losses. 152 average. You got a 120. You're already 120 in the hole. And guess what, Mike? Got 120. You're already in the hole. This guy's gonna get money back in the league anyway, regardless if he stops bowling.
Right.
You're going to probably get that 120 back if you cut your losses now anyway when the league payout happens, right? So if this guy stops bowling right now and all of a sudden he just doesn't show up and he's MIA, you got to you got to get that money back from him when the league ends, or else you hire some people to make sure you get the money back, like how we used to do it back in the day.
All right, are we ready to give the people what they want, Rob?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. You know what I was thinking about real quick before we get in the worst of the week? Man, I wish there was some like meltdown social media videos from the Patch Pirates of those logos that they can't wear those shirts now in a PBA competition. So I wonder if Brunswick is gonna make Patch Pirates. Are they just gonna like let them wear other logos when they're bowling like regionals? I'm thinking more of the regional Patch Pirates than the national tour guys.
Okay, fair enough. All right, here's my worst of the week. It hits on something you just brought up, Rob, not too long ago. Here we go.
No, it's probably I have the same one, dude. If we pick the same worst of the week,
is it from the Motive Bowling webpage?
Oh no, it's not. No, damn it. Okay.
All right, mine's from the Motive Bowling Facebook page. Here we go. This post is by Sean College. Congratulations, Sean. You've won worst of the week here at Sweep the Rack. Here's the post. I have a question for all Motive staffers on staff. I absolutely love Motive products. Have for years now. What's a good way to go about becoming eligible to be on staff? I live in the heart of Storm Bowling products. And even though no hate toward them, high respect for them, I have bowled with many Storm staffers on local, regional, and even a few pro staffers for Storm. I enjoy and take pride in throwing Motive against them. I know a few other big Motive fans out there, but it's hard with zero staffers from Motive out here. And I've been proudly repping it. In fact, in the pro shop I work with has dubbed me the Motive guy because they are all on the Big 7 staffs. They have done this because they don't know Motive product enough to bother carrying it while being a recommended shop from Motive. So I have been pushing Motive product more with an unbiased intention.
Unbiased attention.
What?
How do you push product with an unbiased attention?
They did offer to carry it if I could become a member. And I'm looking for ideas and ways to help accomplish this. If any staffers have info, please let me know the best way to get there.
I have a few questions on this. Are you good? Like, are you a good bowler? Does he talk about any of his bowl? Like, is he a
What
good
is
bowler?
your average?
I mean, that's a pretty important question. No, if it, like, even though it really at this point I feel like doesn't really matter what what his average is if he's a good bowler. He works in a pro shop, so he's already got that going.
No, he doesn't work at a pro shop. He frequents a pro shop.
Oh, so he's the guy. He's the guy you can't get rid of in the pro shop.
Yes. Who pushes Motive bowling balls even though the shop is on a different staff. They must love that.
Oh,
they must love it when customers come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should. This new Storm ball would be a great addition to your arsenal." And this guy's on the side like, "Nope. Storm's terrible. No, Motive all the way, bro. You want this Motive ball over here, right here. Let me show you. Come over here. Oh, they don't even have it here. They'll order it for you. Or you could go to the pro shop down the street. They might have it because they support Motive. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I guess what is driving this guy? It just sounds like he wants to be a part of something.
Here's my favorite part of that post. Homeboy's in the heart of Storm country. And he's repping hard for Motive, bro.
Yo, Motive versus everybody.
Could you imagine bowling this guy in League? Okay, and you throw Storm stuff. All right. I mean, he's gonna be running them out, glaring you down. Like, you want some of this Motive? I'm in the heart of Storm country right now, son.
You want some Motive guy? He probably calls himself Motive guy. He should wear a shirt that says Motive guy. That's Motive guy. Yo, hey Mike, guess who we're bowling tonight? Yo, we're bowling Motive guy. Motive guy.
I gotta say, the Motive patch pirates are the worst patch pirates. I'm putting it out there. I am.
Why?
Motive patch pirates are the worst patch pirates.
Are they because they're more loyal? Are they just like you think they're just like loyal to like a degree that's just like what is going on? Like
I don't know. They're just very random.
Okay.
They're very random. I'll say that.
Well, I know when Motive first came on to the like bowling circuit, they did give a lot of staff contracts out. They were giving them pretty easily, right? I mean, which rightfully so. If you're a new company, you want to get your brand out there by just that's how you do it, right? So there is a marketing strategy to that. If you're a new company, it takes a lot of investing. And I remember when Motive first came on. Be like, dude, like this guy is on staff. Like, what planet am I on right now? But I mean, I think they've learned that they've cut down a lot of that stuff.
No, they haven't.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
You think they're giving contracts out easy? So this Motive guy then should maybe get a contract sooner or later.
I hope for his sake he does. I mean, man's in the heart of Storm country.
I know. His name is Motive Guy.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good worst of the week, by the way.
See, Jimmy feels me. Jimmy feels me in the chat. It's almost like this was a movie about being in Storm country. Storm country.
Not to go on a rant here, but one of my biggest pet peeves in bowling is when pro shop owners are on staff. I do feel like as a consumer walking into a pro shop, if the whole pro shop owner and people working there are all on staff, you're going to get a bias view on what balls to drill, right? And this guy is talking about an unbiased, whatever, being on, fake Motive staff or imaginary Motive staff, whatever you want to call it. But that is one of my pet peeves is I would recommend any consumer that goes into a pro shop looking to drill the best ball for them, ask the question to the pro shop or people that are there giving you those recommendations Ask them if they're on staff or not. Like, so how do you know if you're on Storm staff, Mike? How do you know this Storm ball is actually better than this Brunswick ball that I might buy? You've never thrown that Brunswick ball that I'm thinking about buying. So if I go to a consumer and I say I'm torn, Mike. I'm torn between the new Brunswick release and the new Storm release. What is going to be the better ball for me? That pro shop owner saying the Storm ball is going to be better owner for you is a very biased opinion by the pro shop owner, because some of these guys haven't thrown Brunswick in years, decades. So how do they know? Now, the only good thing of it is that the fact that, a lot of the staffers do know the Storm stuff pretty good because they do throw it a lot and they do drill it all and all that. But it's a consumer who wants to get a fair and unbiased opinion of what they think you should drill. I think that pro shop owners and people working in pro shops shouldn't be on staff. I just don't think that's fair to the consumer. But that's just me. I'm an unbiased opinion here, and I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I agree. All right, go ahead. What's your worst of the week?
All right, so this comes from the Bull and Science Forum. It's really the only spot for me these days where I live. I'm really not on social media a lot anymore. Sometimes you just need a break from all the crap that's out there. Victor Sparks. This isn't essentially the worst of the week is for Victor. This is for what his post was about. There was a man I was bowling against tonight. He had this sticker that says "Made in Mexico" on his ball. He bowled with that sticker on his ball all night. Is that legal according to the USBC rules? I thought that there could be nothing on the surface of the ball. I'm not trying to say the sticker made him do better or anything. I just was wondering for my own knowledge. Well, Victor, I'm not an expert in USBC rules, but I do know that's illegal. You can't have any foreign substance like a sticker on a bowling ball. And for a pro shop, Mike, for a legitimate pro shop to drill this bowling ball and not remove the sticker that says "Made in Mexico" on the bowling ball, that pro shop should get worst of the week, okay? Unless that specific person said directly to the pro shop operator, you better keep that "Made in Mexico" sticker. I'm trying to make a point here, or I'm just trying to, I don't know, I don't know what the point of keeping a "Made in Mexico" sticker on a bowling ball would be, but the pro shop for sure gets worst of the week for keeping the "Made in Mexico" sticker on a bowling ball. And the guy, and the guy getting up, drilling it, and then using it with the sticker on the bowling ball. What are we doing, people? What are we doing out here? All right, Mike. You good to go? What? You ready to finish this up? Wait, you're on mute. I can't hear it.
Wrap it up.
All right, let's do it.
Final thoughts.
Randy Peterson's getting to the USBC
Finally.
Hall of Fame, Mike.
Finally.
Could you imagine? The guy was way, way too late getting inducted, but I'm happy he is getting inducted. I'm just happy
Tom Clark too.
Tom Clark too. Well deserved. Maybe one day Mike will get inducted to the USBC Hall of Fame.
Don't think so, Rob.
I'm holding my breath, but happy that at least Randy deserves it and is able to be alive, right? To have that experience, because there's always that fear that like something would to happen and then it's just too late, and then all of a sudden you're inducting someone into the Hall of Fame that isn't around anymore. You know what I mean? And I use that as someone like Pete Rose. I know Pete Rose passed away a few months back. One day, Mike, the Major League Baseball is going to wake up and realize that Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. and he's not going to be alive to enjoy a recognition that he deserves as a baseball player, right? And so that's why when I heard that Randy's getting inducted, that I was happy to hear it, right? Because he's able to go have the induction, be recognized, have his friends, family there to do it, and then enjoy it when he's able to do it.
Okay. My final thought.
Jimmy thinks we should be in. If this podcast saves bowling, you are in. Jimmy, we're saving bowling one show at a time out here. And if Chad or Tom are listening to this, I really think we should make we've been doing this podcast 5.5 years, Mike. Maybe another 5 years when we're 2035 or something. Maybe we would get inducted into the USB Soy Hall of Fame. That'd be hilarious. Sorry, Mike. All right, go ahead. Final thoughts.
Okay. I think I tweeted this out a couple weeks ago, but I just want to call everyone's attention to some content that you have to check out, because to me, it's content that shows how poorly off we are in bowling right now. Okay, and if you go on YouTube and you look up "Beat the Champ," okay, "Beat the Champ."
Okay.
Video is going to come up for a series called "Beat the Champ" presented by Storm. Seems like it's like an upstate New York area.
Okay.
Where they're doing this, and I'm not going to say too much about it. Go check it out.
Beat the Champ.
Google, YouTube that. Beat the Champ. Okay,
All right.
and listen. If you watch with the commentary on. Watch with the commentary on. Okay, and listen to some of the things being said. Okay.
Perfect.
Listen to some of the comments the commentators are saying the bowlers made to them. Okay? And enjoy that. Give me that, Jim. All right, Rob, we're done for tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us. Glad we were able to come on despite the confusion. And just for the record, I have no problem coming on here and saying I shot 420. Here's what I'm going to say. You think I stink? You think I'm a joker? Tuesday nights at Strathmore, come see me. I'll bowl you for whatever you want. I'll bowl you. You want to bowl for 250 a game? I'll bowl you for 250 a game after. Come on down. We're done at 9:30. Come on down. If you think you can beat me, come on down. I'm there every Tuesday, Rob. People want to come down and bowl. They come down and bowl. I'm there, So I'll come on here and say I shot 420. But again, you want to come bowl me? Come bowl me.
If anybody thinks they could beat me, don't come down. I'm not bowling more than 3 games, more than 4 games that night. I'm done with this shit. Like I can't handle any more games than 4 games a night. We'll have to oil the lanes and do it a different night. But I hear you, Mike. It's refreshingly honest to hear someone talk about their struggles and their challenges on a sport league, because not a lot of people these days know what a struggle and a challenge is in bowling on a regular house shot. It's just one of those things. So
no doubt. All right, folks, thanks for joining us.
Like and subscribe.
Email us, sweettherack@gmail. Hit us up on social media. He's at BrooklynRob11. I'm at the 215. We do most of our interactions on X, so join us there. Will we be back next week? I don't know. We're definitely going to be taking a break at some point for the holidays, right? We've already discussed that. We don't know exactly what our schedule is going to be, but just to prepare the people, perhaps plan for a several-week break from us over the holidays, just because there's not much going on in the bowling world. And when we come back from the holidays, that's when things are really going to gear up. And PBA season is going to be right around the corner. We're going to be starting again. So, we'll definitely reach out to people and let them know what our plan is. But definitely expect a little bit of a break from us over the next month or so.
Yeah, apologize for the late post on the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And, we'll let everybody know. But definitely going to be in a break. So,
all right, sounds good. Folks, we'll see you next week.
All right, bye, later.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.